James lived in a small apartment in the city and took the bus to work every morning. It was a simple routine, but each day felt a little different. He usually woke up at 6:30 a.m., took a shower, and got dressed. His breakfast was always quick, just a slice of toast and a cup of coffee. By 7:15 a.m., he was ready to leave. Grabbing his bag, he checked his phone for messages and stepped outside. The morning air was fresh, and the streets were already busy. As he walked to the bus stop, he saw familiar faces: Mrs. Wilson, the elderly woman who walked her small dog every morning, and Mr. Carter, the newspaper seller on the corner. He greeted them with a smile and a simple, "Good morning." When he arrived at the bus stop, a small group of people was already waiting. Some were scrolling through their phones, others were chatting. A man in a suit stood checking his watch impatiently, while a student with headphones bobbed his head to music. James checked the time. The bus was supposed to arrive at 7:30 a.m. He looked down the road, hoping to see the familiar blue and white bus, but it wasn't there. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Still no bus. James sighed. He had an important meeting at work and didn't want to be late. Finally, at 7:42 a.m., the bus appeared. It was crowded, as always. As the doors opened, people hurried to get on. James stepped inside and looked around for a seat, but there were none. He moved to the middle of the bus and held on to a metal pole as the bus started moving. The hum of the engine, the murmur of conversations, and the occasional honking of cars filled the air. A little boy sitting near the window pointed excitedly at things outside, asking his mother questions. She answered each one with a patient smile. At each stop, more people got on, making the bus even more packed. A woman carrying a large shopping bag struggled to find space, and James moved aside to help her. An elderly man stepped onto the bus, looking around for a seat, and a young girl quickly stood up to let him sit. The old man smiled and thanked her, and James felt a warm sense of kindness in the simple moment. Looking out the window, James watched the city wake up. Cars rushed past, shopkeepers opened their stores, and street vendors prepared their food carts. The bus ride was something he had done so many times, but he always found small details that made the morning interesting. Suddenly, the bus slowed down and came to a complete stop. The driver spoke through the speaker. "Ladies and gentlemen, there is a problem with the engine. We will have to wait here for a few minutes." James checked his watch. He was already running late. Round him, people sighed in frustration. Some started calling their offices, explaining that they would be late. Others just shook their heads. A woman near James muttered, "I have an appointment in 20 minutes." Minutes passed, but the bus didn't move. James considered his options. He could wait or find another way to work. The driver stepped out to check the engine while passengers exchanged nervous glances. After a few more minutes, the driver returned and made an announcement. "I'm sorry, but this bus won't move. Please take another bus or find other transportation." People groaned as they slowly got off the bus. James took a deep breath and quickly walked to another bus stop nearby, hoping to catch a different bus. A few other passengers had the same idea. When he reached the stop, he checked the schedule. The next bus wouldn't arrive for another 10 minutes. He looked at his phone and saw a message from his boss. Meeting starts at 8:30. Be on time. James didn't want to take any chances. He decided to take a taxi instead. Walking to the main road, he raised his hand and a yellow taxi stopped in front of him. He quickly got in and said, "Downtown, please." The taxi moved faster than the bus, cutting through the traffic smoothly. James glanced at his watch as the city passed by outside the window. In just 15 minutes, he arrived at his office. He paid the driver, grabbed his bag, and rushed inside. Just as he entered the meeting room, the clock struck 8:30. He had made it on time. That evening, as James took the bus home, he thought about his morning adventure. Taking the bus was always unpredictable, sometimes smooth, sometimes full of surprises. But he had learned something important. Always have a backup plan. From that day on, he woke up 10 minutes earlier and checked the bus schedule before leaving home. If the bus was late, he knew exactly where to find a taxi or another route. Even though public transport was not always reliable, James still enjoyed his daily rides. He liked watching people, observing the city, and experiencing the little moments that made each morning unique. Taking the bus was more than just a way to get to work. It was part of his daily life.